Justin, I didn't want to react to your video, but you blocked me, so I couldn't see it, and now I have to.
Just because something's marketed as high protein, it doesn't necessarily make it healthy whatsoever. When I say that, I'm talking about Fairlife product. So for the first product I want to talk about that they use, it's a plasticizer called phthalates. Phthalates are actually banned in the UK. It's for the packaging. A lot of companies in the US use it, but like I said, it's banned in the UK because it's bad for you. It messes up your hormones and it can end up harming your reproductive organs.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to be eating a ton of phthalates, but Fairlife's packaging doesn't use phthalates. It uses a plastic called HDPE, or high density polyethylene. So already the phthalates aren't there to begin with, and much of the research we have on the negative effects of phthalates come from research on occupational exposure and long-term exposure in animals, not humans. They're also not banned in the UK. They are, however, regulated in the EU. You might be thinking of BPA though, which the EU has banned from any food contact surfaces since January of last year. So not in Fairlife bottles, not banned in the UK.
Fairlifes also contain an artificial sweetener, sucralose. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of sucralose. It's pretty bad for you. It messes up your gut very badly. It causes you to actually crave more sugar, and it's going to raise those insulin levels in the long run. And increased insulin is going to cause hunger, fatigue, and brain fog.
So while there is kind of mixed research on whether sucralose does cause any sort of meaningful insulin response, you also have to look at it in the context of the food that you are considering. Because in Fairlife, there's also fat, there's also protein, things that slow down the insulin response anyways. And you also have to look at how much overall sucralose is being consumed in a sitting at one time. Like he showed on screen, sucralose is 600 times sweeter than sugar, meaning you need 600 times less to get the same amount of sweetness in your mouth. That is a very small amount of sucralose. And also, as long as your pancreas is functioning and you're not already diabetic or pre-diabetic, small insulin spikes really don't matter that much. Our bodies are very well equipped to handle these sorts of things. The research on sucralose affecting your gut microbiome is very inconsistent, and it's not fair to say that it's just definitively bad for your gut health. If you are sensitive to it, of course you should maybe not have it, but it's not fair to make blanket statements.
In Fairlife products, they use a thickener called carrageenan. Like I said, it's a thickener, and it slows down your digestion very bad, and it causes inflammation.
The gut inflammation thing isn't entirely baseless, but it's only really relevant to people who already have inflammatory conditions like IBD, not the general population. There's also not really any good quality evidence showing that carrageenan slows digestion, but if you're drinking a Fairlife, which has a ton of protein, which does slow digestion, but also has carrageenan in it, it'll make sense that it'll make you feel pretty full for a while. He then told a story about how he got a 12-pack of Fairlifes, had one every single day, and started having really bad gut problems pretty much every day while he was drinking them. And personally, when I hear that, I think it's one of two things. One, maybe you just have a sensitivity to something that's in the Fairlifes, or two, maybe your body just can't tolerate that much dairy. Most people tend to lose their tolerance to it as they get older.
Overall, it's just a very highly processed milk that gets rid of any natural nutrients that you would get from regular milk, and it kind of just slaps on that 42 grams of protein and hopes that you forget about the rest of the product.
It is processed, and there are added nutrients, but many of the nutrients that were originally in the milk are still in there. And for many nutrients, there's even more in the Fairlife than there was in natural milk. This is comparing it to non-fat milk because that's a fair comparison here. Though Fairlife doesn't beat it in every single nutrient. I'm not sponsored by Fairlife, but if you are someone who eats animal products and you want to get some extra protein, Fairlife's a pretty good option. It's pretty nutrient dense, and you're probably going to be fine with it.